everyone out there. Hello to my subscribers in YouTube land. Thank you for watching me. Jason Moss here. Sharing some odds and ends with you here in this YouTube video clip. I hope everyone's having a good start to their September here in 2014. I want to say that a post I put on the DVC Direct Voice Communication with Extraterrestrials page I started on Facebook, as I'm the founder of that research, but not the one that inspired it. The page is dedicated to the late Frank Sumption and Dr. John E. Mack, because Dr. Mack had come up with the idea originally of speaking interdimensionally with radios. And before you laugh at such a concept and idea, understand that we are never listening to radio signals from a technology when we hear them by this means. Where SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is using very, very vast, huge radio dishes to listen into deep space for radio signals from other civilizations. Understand, of course, they've built the largest radio listening devices for the third dimension. What they have not considered is higher dimensions that can be accessed but much closer to us that are much further away. Intriguing. So how does a small little portable radio beat out SETI's giant, super giant Arecibo listening dishes and their new technologically advanced dish arrays out there in the desert? Because you have to consider that the other dimensions that are much higher than this dimension are much, much, much closer to us. As close as the skin in our face than the planets that are hundreds of light years away that these giant arrays are trying to listen to. And those giant arrays are designed only to listen to signals in the third dimension. So think of it like that. If we think in terms of higher dimensions and stop thinking in the third dimensional sense, then we start understanding that it is very easy to access those higher dimensions through small battery-operated direct voice communication ITC research radios invented by the late great Frank Sumption, what are known as Frank's boxes, originally for the purpose of listening to or talking to the dead. It's called direct voice communication. Intriguing. But understand that these devices on my YouTube channel, as you've heard, have in fact received signals from extraterrestrial intelligences in dimensions beyond this one. And you say again, but that's ridiculous. How can a small handheld radio accomplish this? Simply by understanding that we are never listening to radio signals from a technology when we hear them by this means. I'm reading my quote on my own Facebook page. We are hearing them direct from another dimension, sitting outside of our own, close, so close, real, a space as real as our own, a place. We are hearing their minds speak to us. The scanning effect plus the modulation of the circuit plus modulation of the antenna equals hypermodulation theory. I'm going to get quick about this. In this theory, modulated signals moving at c, speed of light, are modulated square the c 2 times equals triple modulated effect. In theory, equals a faster than light frequency output. The devices are scraping the very surface of what many call the veil of our own reality. End quote. Simply put, many physicists will tell you that the speed of light, the magic number, the speed of light, is the fastest that particles can travel within this dimension. Think about that. That speed, the speed of light, is not just the speed limit. Einstein has been protected and guarded so well with his theories, fine. And I appreciate that because it also maintains my theory. that since nothing goes faster than the speed of light within our dimension, it becomes a thin membrane around a cell. Imagine a cell. It's a clear membrane. The speed of light becomes that membrane, and everything within it is space-time, your friends and neighbors, your lawnmower, your cats, your galaxies, and all the rest. What lies beyond that thin membrane is faster than light particles, or hyperspace, or a reality where there's another space where particles move faster than light. Therefore, matter itself takes on a different kind of property. Matter, living matter, would then be comprised of part electricity and physical matter, i.e. the Greys or the aliens you often hear about. Many of them have come interdimensionally. They may have started out life on those other worlds. In fact, why not? They may live exactly on those worlds and in higher dimensions at the same time. Makes sense? If I sit here and say I'm an alien and I know this for a fact, no one's going to listen to this. I bring it to you gradually and slowly. I walk with you holding your hand. I don't bring it to you as some have done. I'm not criticizing colleagues and the starseed spiritual stuff out there that come right out and say, this is it, this is what I'm bringing you. Good for them. Everyone has their own way of bringing it to the public. I'm taking it with you down this road through a scientific hold by hand. Here we go. I could sit here and channel for you and do beings all afternoon. I'd have following on that, but probably not the kind of following that is required. I need everyone's attention. Pay attention, because this is real. And I'm not going to bring this to the wider audience if I'm channeling, believe me. While many follow the channelers and I resonate in my heart and I understand this, I'm called in my path to bring it to the wide. I want the wider audience to help with conscious evolution of humanity. Everyone's got to get on board. Everyone's got to get on board. That means everyone. That means nobody's left out. Everybody's got to hear it. Everyone's got to get into it. Everyone needs to understand it. So I bring you the equations. I become your starseed scientist. And the best way to do that is, instead of me just sitting here saying, I'm an alien incarnate, I'm channeling aliens and here they're talking to me. That's great. Daralinka, good job, love you. Good job. Bashar, love you, good job. I'm called to do this. Because that's reaching an audience this way. I'm going the broader sense to the general public saying, look, here's the science, here's the evidence. Don't take my word for it as a channeler. Here's the radio, the DVC ITC RESEARCH device invented by Frank Sumption. Concept originated by the late great Dr. John E. Mack, who theorized you could do this interdimensional contact with radios. At the time of his death in London, England, over 10 years ago, he was hit by a car. Many have said 2 Dr. Macks died that day. A conspiracy theory around the great psychiatrist's death. He was a Harvard psychiatrist who absolutely emphatically believed the alien abductees. And this is all very real. Rather than break it down into the importance of what species are contacting us, Dr. Mack often said, and I totally agree with him, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is the love that we're sharing with them. And that's what I'm bringing to this message also, is the love that we share together. It's not relevant, the species, although the vast majority of the species I've had contact with through the DVC radio on its own are reptilian. And they are Shakani, Sasani, Bashar's race. Remember that Bashar is an alien hybrid, but you have, many of you have this misconception what Greys are. Yes, some of them are human beings from the distant future, in a time-temporal paradox, while the rest of them, in fact, vast majority of them, are in fact partly electrical, partly organic beings. Now, for that reason, there has to be certain protocols that have to be adhered to when dealing or touching them. When I hugged Beniko many years ago, alien hybrid human being, and we shared love and she hugged me, days and days after, I was suffering from St. Elmo's fire in my body. I was messing up television sets at the time because they had cathode ray tubes, and I was moving my hand, and it's like moving a magnet in front of a TV screen. It was messing the TV up. Eventually the effect wore off through touching metal. I discharged myself. I believe that when you've had interaction with these beings and your experiences, you are being discharged before you are sent off the craft. That is important. Otherwise you'd be walking around for weeks after with rather scary, uncomfortable side effects of dealing with them directly. They have a huge electrical capacitances in their bodies. They can store vast, vast quantities of electricity because they are always in higher dimensions. There you go. You've probably heard it leaked from intelligence reports that the aliens that have come to us at Roswell, New Mexico may have been from another dimension. That is in fact true. I can confirm that. Frank Sumptions boxes are real, folks. And my theory of what's called hypermodulation theory is a solid, grounded physics theory. And maybe some of you can work on the numbers better than I did and share credit. You're more than welcome. If you can do those equations better than me, I'm happy. I'll be more than happy to see that. I've done the best I can with it so far. You want to do a better job at it, go ahead. Build on it, work on it. Maybe you can rewrite it a bit, do something. It's called hypermodulation theory. And it's based on the principle that if you look on an AM radio, the dial is 600, say for example, 600 on the AM dial. Okay, we know that that means that radio frequency coming at the speed of light goes on the radio, is modulated around that antenna and through the circuit at 600,000 times a second. And that's why it's called, the radio station is then called 600. Now, when the radio is scanning like this, it is also performing a modulation effect over the antenna and the circuit. So I'm now getting a little more basic about my theory with you in this end of the video. So while the circuit is modulating anyways on each individual radio dial right through, the scanning device that's scanning the radio in Frank's box is also modulating. So you're modulating the modulation of the modulation, because you're modulating the antenna, the circuit modulates, and now the scanner is modulating. That's threefold. Square the C 2 times equals triple modulated effect, and you get, in theory, a faster than light frequency output reception. Faster than light particles. If you modulated the speed of light, particles moving at the speed of light. Okay, so you've got the speed of light, and you're modulating this. Modulate the speed of light and rotate that. Then you are literally scraping the very surface of what many call the veil of our own reality, the eggshell. So I hope you physicists out there and scientists enjoy this one. That's my research, my video. I won't make it long-winded or, whatever. I guess with all people who, some videos are going to resonate with you, some aren't. You get those people that have, sorry, I had to pause that video. Some of the videos obviously may or may not resonate with you, that's fine. But as I said, with some people that think too much, I think there's a tendency to keeping balance in a mind that never stops thinking. Some of the some of the great geniuses had this problem. Made for terrible company, awful friends, and crappy lovers. But at the end of the day, we benefited from their research tremendously. But again, it's called hypermodulation theory, and we have reptilians all around us. That has been coming up in the research quite a bit. We have loads. They've left this dimension, this galaxy, they moved on to this other dimension and lived there. It has many benefits. As you can well imagine, becoming partly electrical in your body would mean a longer life. And perhaps even, God knows what, you can step out at any point and take your ship out at any point and end up anywhere in the galaxy you want to be. Or any time, for that matter. But many are there probably because they're dead. This is the dimension of the afterlife, folks. So it's not just been populated by human beings. It's populated by a lot of beings. So there it is. Many die and have come back, and near-death experiences have gone and come back. Have described moving through a tube that is moving extremely fast, and they get to another place. It goes right in line with my theory. Higher dimensional existence. Faster than light particles. It is quite possible for our quantum conscious body, our light body, to get blast processed at faster than light speeds into those realms. But the big question of all, and I'm going to end this video on this point, is who or what is exactly dragging us through that tube into the other place. Ponder on that one.